Welcome, everybody, to another edition of IPJ The Podcast. I'm Matthew Gonzalez, and I'm joined again by my fantabulous host, Tammy Toffanelli. How are you, Tammy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All right, into the new year, things are looking pretty interesting. Already, people are saying we need to think about 2022. They're already knocking it off the map, but we'll get more into that later. How was your new year?
I had a great new year. I actually had a nice quiet new year. Stayed at home, really didn't do much of anything. Stayed safe, of course.
Good.
So yeah, there's that. And I hope everybody else had a wonderful, all of our wonderful viewers had a good, New Year's and all that. So
Absolutely. And family was really happy about the toilet paper roll ornament that I gave them.
Yay!
I gave my son that for Christmas, so he was really excited, and he was awesome. He was really excited about it. He's like his mom, the simple things.
It is the simple things. Hey, you never know when you're going to need an extra roll.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, that was really cool, though, that the way you did that and you painted them, it just looked fabulous. It looked great.
Thank you.
To get into what's been going on these days, we wanted to bring in a very good friend of ours, a man who has shared some very interesting and fun stories within the music industry, and no other way to introduce him but to bring in Mr. Wagner Fulco. How are you, Wagner?
I'm good, thank you so much, and I hope I can make this evening a fun evening. Since we're not gonna be talking much about music.
That's it's a lot funner when we talk about music, right?
Yeah. At least nobody wanna kill anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh, and that's not where we want to be. So, how was your New Year?
It was good.
Yeah.
Pretty laid back. Not much happening. Trying to keep the COVID situation, we're giving time for that to go away.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just trying not to be one more,
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's raging out here in California right now too. I'm trying really, really hard to just everything we touch, everything, sanitize it and washing hands and doing everything we can. So
yeah, I hear that. Mask. I hear things are not going that great for you guys there.
We got to get it together out here. But to get away from all the sad news, right, Tammy?
Yeah. Nobody wants to talk about COVID anymore. It's 2021.
Right. Yeah, I think it was supposed to end this year. Hopefully with this vaccine, we'll get rid of it. So speaking of the vaccine and COVID and everything that has gone on over this past year, we were actually really doing well economically. If you think about it, stock market was rolling. People were seeing more money in their paychecks. There were some issues. There was a big truck strike that started happening. Manufacturing in America's in the United States started slowing down. So we started seeing some issues, and we did have a lot of heated rhetoric between the political parties, and that's why I wanted to bring together Tammy, and Wagner agreed to join us as well because he comes from a very independent and centered voices, and Tammy's going to be bringing in the right for us, and I'll be, I guess, jumping in for the Dems, but I'm very independent myself, so just to try to play the field evenly in all that's happened. And our focus here tonight, folks, too, is not to figure out a way for us to further divide, but it's for us to figure out what the problems are and to figure out how we can solve them maybe going forward and offer solutions for you and for us and to get past this, because honestly, we're Americans. We're all Americans. We're all United States citizens. And even if we're not, even if we're, immigrants or illegal immigrants, whatever, we're all humans. We all have life, and we all deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness when you're in the United States. And that's the way it is. That's the way I see it. So anyways, we'll get into the political stuff right now. As everybody knows, Tammy, Wagner, you guys saw the what happened at Capitol Hill this past January 6th, I believe it was.
Yep.
And so, Tammy, when you saw those the rally start, I'm sure I was watching some of President Trump's speech before the rally. Take us through how you were feeling for that day, being on the right side of things.
I was feeling, not just on the right side of things, but very disappointed in our country. I mean, me being a United States Army veteran, everything that I have fought for this country and my fellow comrades, whether they're still enlisted or veterans themselves, it's a huge disappointment because that's not what we fought for. It's not what we want to see our country become, and it's very sad to see that that's where it's going at this point in time because somebody didn't get their way, or it's not who they wanted in office, or it's not who they wanted in Senate, or whatever the case may be. I think it's really sad and very pathetic of our people. We're supposed to stand proud and we're supposed to be together because as I see it right now with the whole COVID thing going on and the segregation that's happening even further than what has already been set in place, this is the time where we all still need to stand together and come together, even if we have to be apart. And people are not understanding the concept of that. And it's very disheartening.
So
very disheartening.
It was tough for you to watch that then. Did you start off though thinking it was going to be a celebration of some sort? Not really a celebration, but an encouragement or I don't know how to look at it because it was I guess it was going to be a good rally there at the White House.
It was supposed to be a peaceful protest. Okay. or a good rally. Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be, was a peaceful protest. But as soon as I knew it was going to happen, I knew it wasn't going to be peaceful because, look at the history of 2020 and how every peaceful protest was actually peaceful up to that moment in time. No, there was always a significant amount of violence going on, whether it was somebody killing cops or cops killing somebody or whatever the case may be. There was always death involved in these peaceful protests. And, and come to find out, I don't know if you guys have had the chance to research that peaceful protest on Capitol Hill a little bit further, but Antifa played a huge role in that riot.
You mean the one at Washington D.C.'s Capitol on January 6th, the 2021,
Correct.
Right? Gotcha.
Yep.
And so Wagner, you yourself saw some of the images that took place that day. Tell me, what did you think when you saw that taking place?
Well, first of all, I didn't think that there should be any manifestation for that day. I don't think it should have been any wrongful allegations or we spent almost 2 months with people trying to prove something. And there was only wackos on the freaking TV trying to say the biggest absurd, trying to prove a point, and there was no point. There was nothing to say, nothing to prove. There's just like mysterious things that nobody could really point their finger to or show a piece of proof that was happening. So, it's crazy to see the people that actually ruled that off and say, okay, there's no illegal voting or nothing wrong with the election this year. The people, they were Donald Trump's side. It's not like they were Democrats trying to fight Donald Trump. They were Trump's side, saying, hey, you know what? There is no problem here. I wish there was, but there is no problem here. And they kept stretching it. And, to me, I'm honestly really fed up with the name Trump. I can't wait to not hear the name anymore. For 4 years, this guy is being disturbing my personal space and my life. And I can't wait for him to go, man. I'm sorry, Tammy, but this guy, it's gotta go. This guy has done enough wrongfulness to this country. And if you want, I can get back to my beginnings here, and then you're gonna see where I come from. And I'm sure I'm gonna give you a very valid point to what I'm saying.
I am going to say, Mr. Wagner, that I appreciate your thoughts and your opinions on that. I truly respect those, as I respect, any Democrat or any independent party person, really. Like I said in the beginning, we're all entitled to our own opinions. However, I'm just going to touch on that for just a moment. So, this is just my opinion and my thoughts and the reason why I am Republican. And so, just for example, one city who had 120,000 registered voters came up with 170,000 votes. That's 50,000 more votes than was actually registered in that city. So if there was actually not a problem, then explain to me how they had 50,000 additional votes.
I don't know if you read that situation deep through, but they made a mistake on the number. It was 171 and then it was 117. They made a mistake on switching the 7 around. I don't know if you got to see that, but that really happened.
We're talking about DeKalb County, just so everybody knows, out of Virginia. It was a very interesting situation that occurred. Basically, the county had come out and said that they still had 117 votes still to count, and the woman that they confirmed this with just said it was appeared to be an honest mistake in the numbers. But I can absolutely understand how people on the right would say, hey, this is very wrong, because first of all, that woman should never work for the voting committee or whatever she works for, again, that gave out the wrong number. Gone, but it just takes a recount or a relook at that tally. And if a judge, I think, would, have any of the information when they go to court, they get evidence from both sides. They get some information from the prosecutor, the people who the plaintiff is, and then some information from the defendant. So the judge has both information, and it's up to the judge to weigh and say whether there's an ample evidence to either move forward or not. And in so many instances, they have not been able to prove that that was an illegal vote tally. It turned out it was correct at the 171 mark. But I do understand where you're coming from, Tammy. Please share what you believe, though, from that. Don't let me sway.
Absolutely. No worries. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody's input. There's also other situations where people who had been deceased had votes. How is that possible? There's been other circumstances, not just that one specific one, but there's been other circumstances where it has actually been proven that there was an issue. Of course, now most of those issues are corrected, so whatever counts they've recounted are now accurate. But there was actually validly some kind of tampering going on, and for me, I understand, Trump has invaded Wagner's daily life and really invaded his personal space. But for me, being a pro-Trumper, what I see is exactly what our country needed for the last 4 years. And that is a businessman and an entrepreneur. And I had somebody once tell me that the country is not a business to be ran as such, but that is not right. That is inaccurate. Our country, as well as every other country, are businesses. They're all ran like businesses. Why do you think we're so far in debt with other countries? Because we've borrowed so much money and now we're trying to pay debts back. But on the flip side of that, Trump doesn't take a presidential paycheck. The presidential paycheck he does get, he in turn donates it back into the country. He has gotten us out of a lot of sticky situations, and he really is for the people. Absolutely. He did not call upon the American people to, fight or anything of that nature that's going on. And yes, he doesn't agree with it, and he openly states that he doesn't agree with it, but I don't see Biden doing anything to stop it. And at the situation that happened on Capitol Hill on January 6th, where was Secret Services? How were they able to get into the building? That should have never happened. And where was Biden during all this to stop it if he's our new president-elect?
Yeah. Yeah, I completely hear you. There was some questionings about where was law enforcement in all of this. There have been many videos released, though, showing an officer being completely crushed by crowds that were pushing up against him. I don't know if you saw that. The poor man in agony. The anger and pain.
Yeah.
But and then there was also. Officers who actually opened up gates. It shows them at the Capitol Police opening up gates. They're trying to authenticate the videos with the Federal Bureau of Investigations and all of that. So there may have been some, and there was also that has been confirmed. Law enforcement officers who were off duty were also arrested and injured, and one may have been killed because there was another one that came up, I guess, apparently today. But there was a large actual law enforcement presence that may have been complicit in this. So Wagner, I'll get back to you, Tammy. I wanted to bring in Wagner to kind of get his take on what you'd said, and then and let's
Can I make one more valid point with Trump as well? Just one more,
sure,
and
absolutely.
It's a big one.
Okay,
it's not small; it's a big one.
Bring it.
President Trump is the only president who has been in the presidential cabinet for the last 4 years that has made as many arrests and gotten rid of human traffickers. That plays a big role, whether it's the pedophilia going on in this country from Hollywood or, the cabinets or the Senate or the House of Representatives or whoever in a political figure or otherwise. He has really cracked down on the sex trafficking going on in the U.S. And no other president has made as many arrests as he has.
How I don't understand how he's made arrests, though. He's the president. He doesn't have anything to do with the arrests. What has he done that has you believe?
He's the commander in chief, and he's the one that had cracked open Epstein Island.
No, that was actually done under Obama. Epstein was originally indicted during Obama's tenure. Just so you know, he was. In fact, it goes back to even Bush. Bush in 2007, I think, was the first investigation that opened, and then he was arrested under Obama admin, and then they
Obama
let him go. And then
Obama is on the flight log. Just so you know,
I have never seen his name come up on that. No one's ever. There's no credible source that I've ever seen his name come up on that. I'm definitely willing to take a look at anything you got, but you got to definitely always look at things to debunk them. So if somebody sends you something that's saying that Matt's gay, or there's nothing wrong with me being gay, it'll say somebody sends you something saying that Matt's an evil man. That would be wrong. So go at it and try to research it to debunk it. Don't go at it trying to research to find proof of it, because you'll find proof of it everywhere. And it takes you into weird places. And I've done that before. So just be careful. There's a lot out there that's scary, and it's meant to... there's a lot of foreign adversaries that are utilizing our technology to pit us against one another. And... that's the way I see it. I don't want to get into all just me talking. Wagner, I'm sorry to keep you over there hanging on.
Yeah, Wagner, come on.
Let's get your side of it.
All right.
And, go for it.
Let me give my side of the story. Gucci. First, I need to get my dog out of my way.
Gucci.
So here's my side of the story. Tammy, I'm sorry to break that news to you, but I think you're getting your information on the wrong place. Seems like you didn't really do the math. Let's start with Donald Trump's paycheck that he donates. The donation of his paycheck, I can't remember what the math is, but it's something ridiculous compared to how much he used on golfing. Now, if we just
No,
consider, if we just take that word golfing for a second, you should remember, since you are pro-Trumper, you should remember him destroying Obama, saying that Obama, all he did was golfing all year long. You should remember how much he talked about Obama being a golfer. And he did way more golfing than Obama did in 8 years. Now, he not just did more golfing, but he spent more money. Now, I'm going to do a quick math for you to understand one thing that you probably didn't pay attention. When he goes to golf and when he takes people to Mar-a-Lago, his property, he takes 30% profit. He takes 30% profit on the money that we pay to the government, on the money that he's supposed to use to make our lives better. Now, besides spending the money for golfing, he also is taking a profit out of it because he's golfing on his own golf course. So that's only one thing that you should look into. Since you know Trump so much, you should definitely look into the other side of the coin, because there's a lot more happening. As far as Antifa at the Capitol, you probably didn't see any video of what happened on January 6th, because if you watch one video, you're gonna see that it's really hard to find anybody that even look like Antifa, or anybody that you could say, okay, that guy look like he's an Antifa. Now, let's not even mention that Antifa doesn't exist. Antifa is a philosophy, it's not a group, it's not an organization like Proud Boy is, like KKK is, like many other organizations that came out later. Now, are you gonna tell me that the guy that had the concentration camp in Germany shirt? I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
But there is a guy there with the I forgot the name of the camp, and I don't even want to
Auschwitz.
learn. Yeah, I don't even want to learn the name. But
Yeah.
anyhow, so that was a concentration camp where the Nazis would kill Jewish people. You're gonna tell me that guy is an Antifa? You're gonna tell me that the guy with the buffalo horn is screaming and shouting and saying that voices talks to him and he can see a different dimension in life? You're gonna tell me that he's an Antifa? I'm sorry, Tammy, but you know, I can go down a list, and we're gonna spend like about 5 years to debunk everything that Donald Trump is portrayed on this fake world that some people believe that he is. Now, I'm gonna tell you something, so you don't think that I'm a Democrat and a Republican hater. So back when George W. Bush was the president, and that's before Obama became president, I saw Trump on a meeting. I think there was a lot of politicians in that meeting, and there were some influential people, and Trump was in it. And I was looking at the guy, and I was like, this guy should run for president. He seems like he knows what's up. He knows how to deal with things. Trump should run for president. I would vote for him easily. So then time went by, and he proved me wrong. As soon as the election started, when he opened his mouth for the first time, I was like, "Oh my God, this guy cannot be president. There's no way that this guy can be a president. It's impossible. This is not right." Now, back to where I stand as far as political side party. None. I don't care if the guy is Republican. I don't care if the guy is Democrat. I care if the guy is a true person. I care if the guy is real, and I care if the guy is gonna do good for the country. And I came to this country in 1995 looking for the American dream. And I've never had to worry about politics because people were taking care of the politics. Things was happening, good or bad. Things was not chaotic. You wouldn't wake up every day to check the news if some craziness was happening. For the past 4 years, I don't know about you, but I wake up on in my life and check the news to see if something crazy just happened that I missed in the middle of the night. Because these guys just like a time bomb. Like in any second, something could happen, and it's crazy. And I don't even want to get into the immigrant. Since I'm an immigrant, I don't want to get into the immigration situation because you both are not, and you're probably not going to understand if I touch that subject.
Well, my wife's an immigrant, and I had to stand in the line with her. We had to do all the paperwork together. We had to go through the interview together. I've been through the process. I've paid the money. We're going to go through it with her mom too. Bring her to the States. We're already working on that. But yeah, I know what you feel. I know what you're saying. There's a big open can there that we can talk about someday, which we should. And
Yeah.
hopefully other people will join us. So.
I think that the main problem that we have in this whole thing is getting the information and being able to check. Now, here's one thing that you said that is very true. There is, when you go to look for Obama being right, Obama being wrong, Trump being right, Trump being wrong, you're gonna find so much. You're gonna find so much smeared information that you're not gonna be. It's if you're not if you're not a real if you're not looking for the right thing, you're gonna come back saying, hey, this is there is people selling kids blood in a pizza place in freaking DC, let's go kill them. Like, this is the biggest absurd. And also, I'm sorry, Timmy, but Hollywood pedophile, I haven't seen. I've been in Hollywood. I've been without the stars, a lot of the stars in Hollywood. There's no freaking way that is a true statement, and there is nothing that can prove that is a true statement. That there is Hollywood pedophiles. There might be pedophile in Hollywood, but not Hollywood, the movie industry, where people are saying. Now, there is other things in Hollywood happening. There's a lot. There is the what we call in Portuguese the couch test. Where in order to get a role, you get to sleep with the director or something. That's old in the industry of music. TV or anything, that's old, and that is something that should be already taken care a long time ago. And I believe that we did start taking care of that problem. Some of the directors in Hollywood got to be punished for a situation like that, and I think that that's been working. Maybe the noise that Trump made for 4 years kind of like overshadow everything else. We weren't able to take care of other things. But man, 4 years of noise, loud noise, like craziness every single day. Like, oh my God, what the hell is gonna happen? Am I gonna have to pack everything and sell my house and go back to Brazil? Am I gonna be expelled from America? And I'm an American citizen, okay? and that's how I was feeling for the whole time. And I'm an American citizen. I have an American passport, and I was freaking out. I was like, is this guy gonna ask people that became American citizens to leave the country? Like, and he did. I don't know if Tammy remembers that. He did say that. Okay, he did say that he was gonna do that.
Yeah, there was some talk about the immigration early on and making some substantial changes within the immigration, but there is rebuttal to that too. In that the Obama administration was just as hard, if not tougher, with immigrants. Not as tough as putting them into kids and separating the families. That was really, really harsh. And I know that there may have been a little bit of that, because of kids coming over with people who couldn't claim them as their parents. There was no way to identify them, so the Obama administration would have to separate them because they needed to know that these children weren't being sexually trafficked by these people into the United States. So I know that there was that going on. I looked into this a lot, but there was a step up in that whole thing, and they used different methods or what have you that were much harsher. But there's a lot to talk about on that issue, like you said. I wanted to now go over to Tammy and talk with her a little bit and get what she thinks from it. And then after we do that, I wanted to have you both just tell me 5 things that Trump has done good. I want 5 things from Wagner that Trump has done good for this country. And then I want 5 things good, or I'll tell you what, I'll keep it simple. 3 things good from Wagner and 3 things good from Tammy, okay? That Obama did for the country. So you both, okay? So first we'll get the rebuttal from Tammy, hear what she has to say, and give her some chance to speak her mind here. And then we want to get those 3 statements from you, and then we're going to move into identifying these problems. So here we go. Tammy, you're up.
So the only thing I have left to say is watch on YouTube. It used to be on Netflix, but it's not on Netflix anymore, I don't think. But watch The Fall of Cabal. If you have not watched that, watch that. It is a wonderful, informative YouTube video. That's where I found it, was on YouTube. But I do know that it was on Netflix, and I want to say I think it was on Hulu at one time as well. But The Fall of Cabal is a really, really good educative narrative for a lot of things going on.
With
and then
as far as the movie, you mean like as present day and everything that's kind of happening?
It goes into everything that happened at Epstein Island. It goes into the wall, the building of the wall. It goes into a lot of things about, what's happened in the country over the last 4 years.
Got to see it.
So,
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. All right. And so some things that you said 3 things, right? 3 things that Trump has done good for the country.
Was that your was that all you had to say as far as what Wagner had pointed out as far as the issues that he saw? Was there any rebuttal to those? You believe that?
I just feel like I am very well educated on Trump and what he has done for this country. I have done my research. I have done a lot of debunking. I will say one last thing in regards to a rebuttal to Wagner is, number 1, you have to remember that certain counties are either left or they're right. And when you live in those counties or you live in those states, they have news stations that will promote either fully left or fully right. So you also have to be careful what you see on the news, because it's not always accurate. They're trying to persuade you into other things. I've only found one news station that is actually a really good news station that is pretty factual. But as far as that goes, I'll leave you guys to find that on your own. And I still have mad love for you, Wagner. Don't worry.
Right. I'm not here to hassle you, but I have to express. I feel like I wouldn't be a real American if I don't express what I'm saying, right? What I'm seeing, what I've been seeing for 4 years, and I can go off and give example of other people that supports Trump on my circle of friends that I know, and just one thing regarding the county that I live. I live in Florida. So
Wow.
This is a Trump town, okay? Like everywhere I look, there is a Trump flag flying around. It's crazy. So as far as getting the right information, the funny thing, Tammy, that I see is that the right information is not that hard to find. What I do see that the Trump supporters usually go to a crazy dipping to some, I don't know where, and try to make sense out of some crazy questionable situation, but then all of a sudden it makes sense to them. It feels like you guys are either way superior are way below average.
Tammy?
I'm good. I'm good.
Tammy, you make some valid points because I think that Trump has done some things that are good for the country, believe it or not. I think that though I don't agree with the country being run like a business. It's just because business is profit before people, and I just can't see that in a country. You know, I would rather a country throw away profit before it throws away human life. But in a business, that's not the way it rolls. You know, it's all about the profit. It doesn't matter about the people. That's my perspective as far as business goes. So, and we'll leave it at that. Anyways, as far as what Trump's done good for this country, Trump has a spine. He has a backbone at times, and he comes out there and he does. He's put his foot down with certain people in the political sphere, both domestic and international. He has passed some executive orders that have helped the country, and he's also helped pass some legislation that did bring down some taxes for people and businesses and certain things that did help to grow the economy. And though the economy had already really gotten back to on track and it was starting to roll up there and it was on just a roller coaster, Trump was able to add on to that roller coaster and took us from a 4.7% unemployment down to like a 3.6, I believe it was, or a 3.4. So it was like the lowest ever. So absolutely, give the man kudos, I think. But something went wrong. And we cannot deny that because we had Americans attack the Capitol wanting to kill Capitol Police, federal agents. They went through the building, screaming and yelling to hang Mike Pence. This is fact. This is truth. There's their own videos they posted in their own Facebook pages. That's how these federal authorities found most of them, because they posted these things up and then quickly deleted them. But they were already there. So a lot of them were doing Facebook Live. So it's not from the media that these videos are coming from. These are coming from the people themselves. So I think we need to take a step back because, first of all, it's so disheartening to hear, somebody on the left say that Republicans are horrible or bad people. Bad, they're not. They're Americans. They're human beings. And it's so bad and wrong for people on the right to say that Democrats are bad people and, whatever, should be hung or killed, because they're not. They're Americans. They're human beings. They're our fellow countrymen. If we were in a bunker together and we had China shooting freaking, bullets and missiles at us, we wouldn't be asking what party we're with, right? Mm-hmm. We would be defending each other. We would be standing with one another. So right now, I really truly believe we are receiving fire from all directions, from China, from Russia, from Iran, from Iraq, from North Korea, from all of these places. But it's cyber, it's internet, it's social media. And they're disguising themselves as us. These are coming in as invisible bullets. And they're hitting us. And they're not killing us, but they're enraging us. They're forcing us to somehow believe that we are the enemy. That you, Tammy, that you, Wagner, that you're supposed to be my enemy. And now I can either absorb that and label you as my enemy and then just go after you, and everything that I'm fed is what it is. I've seen Democrats do it. I've seen them go after Republicans, and I've seen Republicans do it. And it's gotten to a point now where one party has just gotten so angry. And they're just, at first they were angry because nobody listened to them and during the Obama 8 years. and it was tough for them, yeah, because there was a lot of different things that they didn't agree with when it came to the Democrats and the political sphere. We have 24/7 news too, so everybody's hearing all these politicians talk crap about each other, and it just rolls downhill to us, and then we start hating each other. So I'm so glad that our conversation was straight up and honest. Now we need to figure out what the problems are. So, Tammy, do you believe that Republicans or Trump supporters hate their fellow countrymen? Democrats?
I don't believe that Republicans or Democrats actually hate each other. I think what's happening here is they hate the situation and what's going on with the presidential election and kind of being stuck in limbo. It's not to mention the insanity that's been created by our shutdown of America because of COVID-19. That has not helped anybody's mental state.
Good point. Really. What do you think about that,
So,
Wagner? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have something else?
no.
What did you think about that, Wagner, with the whole COVID thing and just feeding more to
Well,
people?
yeah, definitely COVID is feeding a crazy amount of stress and
People have so much time to be online too and
frustration. Yeah,
search
and
and look and
frustration
watch.
it's not anything new that we didn't know the internet was gonna be the go-to guide for these times. And people took advantage of that. People definitely took advantage with what they were saying, what they were writing, and what they were trying to instigate out there. And I do believe that we got a huge influence of wrong people. And here's the my a little bit of my feeling here on this whole story. When I came to this country, I didn't see Hispanic. I didn't see white, black, or Asian or anything. I didn't see any of this. I saw American. To me, everybody was American. If you didn't speak English, then you were not American. Then you came from a different country. But everybody else, they were Americans to me. There was not left, right. There was not Republican. I would never see, oh, that guy's Republican. I'm not going to talk to him. Oh, that guy is Democrat. I never had that issue. Never. I never felt that did never bother me in one bit of my 25 years of America until this guy took over. And then all of a sudden, oh, you don't look white, so you must be Democrat. You must like Obama, and all this bullcrap that I had, prejudging you and start to discriminate and being racist and it was just crazy. I'm not sure, Matt. I'm not sure if you have, because of your skin color. I don't know if you ever experienced discrimination because you speak English perfect. You were born here. You have no accent. But I'm not sure if I can pass that situation to Tammy. How horrible it is to see people looking at you like uh, you're below my level of life. And this is the crazy point. Let's say I'm a I don't know, I'm a scientist. Okay, let's say I'm a scientist and I'm in my country. I've done so much great stuff and blah blah blah. Now I come to America. Now I have an accent. Now I don't speak English that well. I stumble on the words and I stutter when I try to say something. And automatically the guy at 7-Eleven or at McDonald's is gonna look at me and feel like, oh, this guy's a dumb ass. He can barely speak. Like I'm gonna be right away labeled just because of the skin color or the way you look and the way you speak. And that happened right now, this for the past 4 years. I never had that problem before.
Yeah. I can't speak to that problem. I've never had that problem, so but I do. That does suck. Tammy?
Just so everybody knows, I am part Latin American. I'm Italian. My grandma and my grandfather were immigrants.
Oh, wow.
Who did not speak English very well. They spoke Italian. So yes, I do understand where immigration, where the complications with coming to the U.S. and immigration. I have seen it. I have witnessed it because I have that in my family. And I don't think that the immigration portion of things is the problem, or what Trump was trying to stop, or any other president for that matter. What he's trying to stop is the illegal immigration. He's not stopping immigration, period. He's just stopping the illegal portion of it and forcing people to come over in the right manner. We still welcome immigrants with open arms. We still have no problem. I have no problem with immigrants. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care how well or unwell you speak English. You are more than welcome to be here on this land, the same as me or my neighbor. We're just asking that it be done legally. Let us help you.
I totally understand. I also believe that immigration should be legal. I came here legally. There's no border between Brazil and United States, so you either come in legal or you don't. So there is. I was always, my whole process of becoming an American citizen, everything was completely legal, but it's still. Unfortunately, Tammy, people don't look at you and say, "Oh, she might be Italian with."
Right.
With,
I look like white girl. I know.
And that label is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That label is a problem. You like it or not, it is a problem because, unfortunately, for other people, others can call. And I could be mistaken as an Arabic, for God's sake. And am I actually, to be honest with you? If you look at my name, you're gonna see it. Wagner Fulco. Fulco is an Italian name. My grandfather was Italian. He was born in Italy. He died in Italy. My grandmother, she was from Spain. I'm the second generation in Brazil of Italian with a Spanish generation.
Wow.
It's Italian and Spanish from Spain.
That's
amazing. So and it's interesting enough. I don't really look. I look more Middle Eastern. If you're gonna really be stereotype, then you can easily qualify me as a Middle Eastern than anything else. And as far as the way things were going with the immigration, unfortunately, the way Trump was putting out there, people start to be racist with that narrative. And instead of just say, okay, no, we welcome immigrants from all over the world as long as they come legally. That's what I thought. That's what I always believed too. It's not a problem to anybody. Now, there is some case of people that they are refugees or whatever the situation is, and they have to ask for asylum. Or people don't even have the opportunity to ask for asylum, or they just want to cross the border and risk their life, whatever they want to do. Now, that is a problem that needs to be dealt with. It's like, picture this: America is a great country, right? Now, picture this beautiful woman walking on the street with this very short skirt, and her cleavage showing and everything. Now, people are gonna look at her, regardless if she's married or not, regardless if she's in the market or not, regardless if she's looking for a relationship or not. Guys are gonna look at her, and guys are gonna try to approach her and gonna try to do anything to get her attention. That's America to the world. Everybody looks to America and say, okay, I want to be with that country. I want to be part of that philosophy. I want to be part of the culture. And that triggers many variety of situations that I can't even start to imagine what drives someone to come to this country and bring their kids and try to cross the border and put their kids in life in risk and their life in risk and all that stuff. But I'm assuming that that's why I didn't run for politics. That's right. I don't want to be a politician. And I hope that people that are being politicians, they will take care of that issue, with the most reasonable way possible. I think it's just a matter of being, what is right and what is wrong is wrong. That's it. If we go by that rule, what is right, what is wrong, I don't think we would have a problem, and we would be fighting that much, because uh,
We
seems like usually people get disagreements because they are fed with the wrong information. When people disagree on something, one of them there's two different point of view, but one point of view has to be triggered based on something that is not well informed, that is not really 100% true. And here's the thing. To me, you're never gonna see in my social media me saying, "Oh, Obama is awesome, Hillary is awesome, Biden is awesome, Kamala is awesome." You're never gonna hear me saying any of that. The reason why is because if they don't do the job, I want them out too. I don't give a damn. If Hillary Clinton did everything that Trump accused, let's lock her up. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. The same thing, the same rule apply for Joe Biden and to anybody, and anybody. Period. Like, it doesn't matter what political party they are. And one thing that I start to see here in America, it feels like, I don't know if you guys can feel the way, because soccer is not that big in America, but in other countries where soccer is big, people protect their team like they protect Trump right now.
Yeah, they do. They
And
battle.
that's wrong.
Yeah, they
That's
battle.
wrong, because if the team is got the wrong player, the bad player, the bad whatever, and all these things, they only like that team because they grew up with it. It's a whole different story. But take a man from the TV and turn that person in an idol and say, okay, whatever he says is right. No, I'm sorry, but that is completely wrong. We
Yeah.
cannot do that. We have to be straight with the country. It's about the country. It's not about that one man's philosophy. It's about, it's not about what is good for me. Like, if my economy is good enough that I don't need to apply for private health insurance. I mean, the government health insurance. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
if my personal situation is good enough that I don't need to take advantage of that, it doesn't mean I should, screw everybody else that needs that.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. And from uh, from Tammy's point of view too, I completely understand though what she's saying when she's saying that you know Trump has done a lot of things to try to make the country a little more stronger and not so weak on the world stage. There are a lot of areas. The immigration, we went down that road, and it was it's a tricky road because I know that we all somewhere down the road have something that brought us here to this country. Through generation. We're unless you're Native American, you're not actually you know
American.
yeah, I mean, the Americas we're talking about are Canada all the way through the United States into Mexico into Brazil. These are the Americas. If you look at the Mexican Constitution, it says I believe it's the United Mexican States of America. So we have to realize that we're all part of this Americas. And, we have so much that we can gain together. We don't have to break down borders and make one big United States, but we have so much we can gain from one another. Personally, I would like to see all borders gone, but that's not going to happen. Too much culture, too many old problems, and religion being the biggest one, I think. But anyways, Tammy, where what do you see as the problem that the left has that and what do you think are that we can do to solve that problem or those problems?
Well, obviously both sides have problems, both sides have problems and issues. And I don't really think it's a left problem or a right problem. I think it's a we problem. And in my opinion, our we problem is that we need to learn how to love ourselves more and each other more. I mean, really, you got to just stop hating. Why hate because this person doesn't agree with who you voted for? This person doesn't agree with, you're for the people or for business. People don't agree with your religious beliefs, the color of your skin, whatever the case may be. None of that should matter. Aren't we bigger and better than that? I mean, that was over 150 years ago. Get over it.
Yeah. That you made perfect sense right there. So how do we get people to get over it though, Tammy? How do we get Democrats to stop saying that Republicans are out to, kill immigrants or do bad stuff to other people? And how do we get, Democrats to stop saying, or Republicans stop saying things that they're going to do to Democrats? How do we bridge the divide?
I personally think that they need to be held accountable. If they do something wrong, they need to be held accountable. They need to this whole protection, because they become politicians and they have this whole protection, is the most wrongful. And plus, if you ask me, politician salary should be really low, because the guy should be a politician because he really wants to be a politician to solve the problem, not to make profits out of it. So I think that until we be able to take a guy, okay, regardless if he's a Democrat or Republican, if he said or did something that is against the Constitution, he shouldn't be able to apply loopholes and get out of it to skid himself from being punished, and now have the rest of his side, his team, back to the soccer reference.
Yeah.
People from his team to protecting him, to say, oh no, finding the most crazy ways and legal difficult words, so we get lost and we don't know what the hell is going on. It's like, okay, now I'm kind of got lost in what he was trying to say. Then he might be right, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Now that if you're saying that, then you do know then we need to get rid of Biden, and the reason being is that Biden is involved in like 7 women who came forward in regards to sexual assault.
So Trump is involved with millions, and
right,
he actually
we have to stop with the blame game and going, yeah, but Trump, but Biden, but what I'm saying though is if you're going to hold people accountable, like you're saying that we have to hold people accountable, then we have to say, whoa, we made a mistake with Biden. Because Biden and Kamala Harris as well. I personally know Kamala Harris, and I can tell you she's not a an up and up person. She really isn't. I've been sent videos from the. We'll talk about that another time. Anyways, there's some very bad people on both sides of the aisle. So where do we go from here?
Did you realize that from the beginning, I'm not here to protect or to say, oh no, but Biden is great.
No,
Kamala Harris is awesome, or Obama is. I'm not saying any of that.
No, I'm just saying that we would have to hold Biden accountable too, though.
Everybody needs to be held accountable, and that's the problem, because they keep finding ways and loopholes to get away with their mistakes, and here we are now. We are the ones suffering with these people that are using the Constitution against us.
Tammy,
all I can say is Kamala Harris as our VP, I am very concerned, just because you and I are on the same page of knowing what we know about things that have conspired in our digging upon cases and things of that nature. And there's the crookedness runs deep. It runs very, I'm very
go ahead
about that. And, and I agree with Wagner. Yes, people do need to be held accountable for their actions, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, whether it's Kamala Harris, whether it's whoever, it doesn't matter. They all need to be held accountable for any wrongdoings that they've done, just like any average American citizen, And as far as to answer your question of what we can do to try to bridge the gap of self-love and loving each other is, the best thing that I can think of is something that my grandmother used to say is you may not be able to change the world, but you can change the world for one person. And that one person, if you keep the chain going, then that person can change it for somebody else. And that person can change it for somebody else. Imagine how many people you can reach in a lifetime, even just from something of a simple smile during the day to somebody, or helping that little old lady walk across the street. Because in those moments, it doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are, or how large or how skinny you are. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or a liberal or an independent. None of that matters in those moments. So just lend a hand and start loving each other. We're all brothers and sisters, all of us.
Amen, sister. Love it. Love it. Wagner. Where'd you go? Oh, what you think? What you think of what Tammy said? No, what do you think about what Tammy said? And she agreed with you in that we need to hold people accountable, whoever they are, and that we need to bridge this divide by reaching out and looking at each other other than seeing race or religion or
definitely.
political.
I think that definitely that is the best way to see everything, and that's how it should be. Unfortunately, I don't know Tammy personally. I haven't spent time with her. I don't know how she thinks about much of that, but seems like a great amount of people are not thinking that way.
Yeah. But it takes time too. I think that if somehow we can all, put what happened at the Capitol behind us somehow, and like you said, probably the only way to do that is hold people accountable, and then the rest of us stop, watching the traumatic events that unfolded, stop watching and listening to rhetoric from politicians who are trying to get us riled up against one another. I think if we all started paying more attention to what's going on amongst us, we would see that these politicians are using us to continue their corrupt ways. They continue to use us against each other to make buttloads of money in very illegal ways. Me and Tammy have gone through quite a lot of research, and there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world that they don't want us to know about, because if we know about it, there goes their paychecks. It's huge money too.
Yep. Unfortunately, my eyes are wide open, and they have never been more open as they have been in the last 6 months of everything that we've encountered along our endeavors, and just to touch on Wagner, where he said, yeah, that could work, but what do we do about all the other people who aren't going to conform to loving one another or not seeing race or color or whatever else is going on? It's simple. You see a person with a lot of hatred in their heart, smile, be kind, let them know you still love them, even though they have that hate in their heart. And I guarantee you, they're going to go home and they're going to think about that. And every day that after that, they're going to go out and they're going to think about the hatred in their heart, because that one person who was nice to them, could have changed their whole outlook on life.
Well put. Very well put. Well, my friends, what do you think? Did we come to some kind of an understanding of what we think is going on and how we can kind of hopefully try to bridge this divide?
I wish that our conversation here would be the conversation that could fix this problem.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We would be like gods then, right?
But unfortunately, the hole is way deeper than what we are describing here today.
Yeah.
In every sense.
Yeah, you're right, Wagner. But with that being said, our conversations and this going up on our YouTube video, on our podcast is going to show at least over 1,000 people of our followers that people who don't always see or agree or think the same way can still come together, have an adult conversation without arguing or being hateful towards each other, still having that, that love for one another as American citizens. And it's going to teach them a lesson. They're going to see that is a possibility. It's going to set an example, and we're going to be role models because of how we can still communicate with each other and not have animosity.
Yeah. Let me share one situation that happened with me about 2 weeks ago. I have this friend here in Florida, and he's a very impressive person. He is a mechanic engineer. He's a pilot, and I always thought, and every time that I talked to that guy, and I was like, okay, this guy is got an amazing brain. He is very detailed on everything, but he started to open his mouth, and more and more as we developed our relationship, he started to express his Republican side. To me, was not a problem. Oh, great, you're Republican, awesome. So I didn't make any comment. I didn't do anything to instigate. I was always being complete. Actually, I would not even talk about politics. And it is something that I don't like to talk about because it's so frustrating that I don't even want to get into these topics. I just, it's not my cup of tea. But this guy, I went to have lunch with him this couple of weeks ago. In the middle of the conversation, he turns to me and says, Wagner, I was watching this one guy talking in this, I can't remember if he mentioned talk show or whatever it was that he was watching, or on the internet, whatever he was watching on the internet. And this guy, he raised a question that it was very important question. And I was very, very impressed and surprised because it is a question that we don't ask ourselves. And this question should be asked. And I was like, for a second, I'm thinking, wow, what is the question that the guy asked, And here's the question that he thought was so impressive, that he was so interested in. He turns to me and said, if we kill all Black people, do we solve the problem?
Oh.
And then I had rolled my eyes and I was like, what the fuck did I just hear? And then if we kill the Black people, and then now we kill the Hispanic people, now we solve all our problems. Or the Asians are gonna raise, and then we're gonna have Asian problem. That's a real good question to ask. We need to try to understand that, because that could be a problem solver. And then after he explained everything, it's like, yeah, and maybe the Americans would be a problem. Not the American, he mentioned the whites would be the problem. But interesting that he mentioned killing everybody but the whites.
Good Lord. And he is part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I have a lot of very wonderful Republican friends. I have a lot of wonderful Democrat friends, but I can tell you, my Republican friends I don't hear racist comments. They don't tell me racist jokes. They don't, they're good, decent people. So there's a fragment of people, and there's I'm sure there's a good amount of them though that do hold those feelings, unfortunately. And that's just bad. Yep. And they come to you a lot, Wagner, because you have that accent, unfortunately, and unfortunately you get a lot of it,
On that day I was like, well, welcome to Florida.
Well, you guys, we've been going pretty good here. Do you guys have anything you want to wrap up with as we come to a close?
Yes, I do have something to wrap up with.
All right, bring it on, Wagner.
Tammy, I'm sorry that I know I went against all your philosophies and all the ideas that you exposed. Um, I didn't mean to. I feel like as an American and you as an American, we should both share what we feel is right. And I don't think that I was an American if I wouldn't share what I think is right for this for the life that my universe, I guess, at least.
Tammy?
I'm not offended in the least bit. I respect everybody's opinions, beliefs, whatever it is, that they do. That's your own thoughts. And I have no animosity, no ill will towards anybody. I love everybody equally. I am, my eyes are wide open, but I'm very blind to a lot of things. So I truly appreciate the wonderful conversation we were able to hold about our differences of opinion. And, and I really like the, the back and forth with it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good to hear both of you express your views in regards to the political sides that are there. Of course, again, Wagner being an independent, he was speaking more from the left side, and I was coming in on the left here and there, and also coming to the side of the right, because both sides are equal. And by the way, us independents need to start stepping up and running for office, and teach these Democrats and these Republicans how we're actually supposed to run a country on behalf of the people. So hopefully,
I bet, Matt.
maybe someday I'll run for president, but I don't have enough money. But anyways, thank you guys both so much. Wagner, I hope you really enjoyed your time spending with us. I would like to, get into some more, but we always have so much time, of course. But thank you so much.
We will need 4 years.
Yeah, you got that right. Oh, and by the way, you have an album dropping pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Pretty
soon.
And still can't talk about it too much?
Not yet. I'm almost done.
All right. You keep us on the roster, man, so we can bring you on to do a little announcement and talk about it. Maybe possibly hear a little bit of a track or two, possibly. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. So excellent. Tammy, thank you so much for joining again me on this show and to talk to the people and all your wonderful fans out there who love you so much, and just and thanks for sharing your point of view. It's very important that we all share our points of view so we understand how we're all thinking about things and how we're absorbing things.
Yep, absolutely. It's been my pleasure. I've enjoyed every podcast since I came onto the show that we've done up to this point in time. I've met some pretty great people along the way. And my last closing statement that I want to say, at least for the closing of this portion of the show, is, can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
I agree.
Let's do it.
Let's all get along. So, on behalf of Wagner Fulco, Tammy Toffanelli, and myself, I'm reaching out to all of us here in the world, and that we all come together and find a way to bridge the divide. And we can only be stronger when we do that. For the IPJ Podcast, I'm Matthew Gonzalez. Thanks for joining us. And remember, folks, it is your voice, so use it.